This is Tracy with RoadDawg Online and Lester Estelle, drummer for Neal McCoy. Neal McCoy, when you say that, you think of the Shake, all these country hits, man, a guy that's energetic all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
How did you end up with Neal?
Bass player, buddy of mine, Jeremy Warden, who's on the gig, told me about the audition, and I was like, yeah, man.
Had you heard of him before? Or?
I'm new to the country scene, so like I knew who he was, but I didn't realize I knew some of his songs until I started listening to learning the song. I was like, oh, man, I know that song. Or I've seen that video or whatever.
Right.
But so I got, he gave me a shout about the audition, and I went and I tried out, and that was it.
What's it been like so far, man?
Neal's it's an interesting gig. He's great because we do a little bit of everything style-wise. So he initially wanted a new band to do more the big band stuff and a little more jazz stuff. So that I kind of grew up in the gospel and jazz kind of stuff. So that was like, hey, that's fine for me. And then just taking on the country thing has been, for myself, has been killer because that's a whole nother element of playing.
So, are some of the shows country and then some of the other ones jazz? What's big band?
It depends on the crowd. He'll mix it in, like, if we play like a casino gig or something, he'll just fill out the crowd. So he'll do a few of his songs that everybody knows. And then, depending on how young or old the crowd is, I'm not listening on old. Love my grandma.
I love my grandma.
But it depends on the crowd, maybe he'll do some old country, like back in the day country, or he'll do some Sinatra standards or something like that. So it totally depends on the crowd. We play a club or a festival, he's doing the rockin' stuff.
She look good. She look fine. She look good.
It's a little bit of everything.
So is this big band stuff, is it covers or is it his own material?
It's covers. He's done some stuff, a couple of tunes that sounded big bandish, but it's all covers mostly. I mean, Neal show's crazy because we'll do anything from play that funky music to don't get around much anymore, and then wink. So random as far as the shows go, so it all depends on the crowd. Neal likes to get the crowd involved, and it's a show instead of just, hey, we're playing our hits, sorry to you know what I'm saying?
Right.
This is my favorite drummer I've ever not just worked with, but I've ever heard in my life. We're going to show him off in just a minute. From Kansas City, Missouri, Lester Estelle Jr.
When I really started listening to other stuff, like I saw Dave Matthews Band, that Crash record, so I was like, man, this guy, blah blah, set this ride up over here, so I kind of got into that.
Yeah, Carter's crazy, man.
So around that same time, it was my buddy started handing me like DVD drum videos, and I mean, just the way I grew up, like I never even heard of Dave Weckl, none of those guys. So I was like, oh my God, this it was like a whole nother world opened up. So then I got into Sting and all that stuff, and it just went on and on from there.
Sting's got some phenomenal players.
That's how I learned how to play odd time stuff, just listening to that Ten Summer Tales record. You know what I'm saying?
Vinny's so smooth.
Oh yeah, heck yeah, man. I started when I was 3, and it was one of those things where grew up in church playing, and it kind of went from there. Like I got my first kit when I was 11. It was like a school talent show, and I borrowed a neighbor down the street's drum kit, and then my parents were like, all right, we gotta get him a kit, because they knew I was serious. And they were like, oh man, you know what? Gosh, that's tough. Because playing, when it comes to playing, I love everything. When it comes to actually listening to something, it's like, you know, it'd probably be like a pop, something pop, like a Justin Timberlake or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Something that would be kind of fun. But shoot, man, Stevie Wonder, any of those, Michael Jackson. I mean,
Yeah.
that's kind of like what I like to listen to. So probably that. But I love playing everything. Like actually, it's funny. Like as soon as I got that, I've been playing for a hard rock band for the last 7 years called Pillar, and so my last 7 years has just been just bashing, you know, freaking 12, 16, 18 kind of thing, big crashes, and so when I got this gig, it was like, wow, I'm playing country, and then out of nowhere, like all these country sessions started coming, like, and I was like, man, this is, you know, it's been good. I actually really enjoy it, you know. But
Did you have to adjust your playing?
yes and no, because like it's popular music, so like format wise everything is pretty much the same, but I had to kind of adjust my feel a little bit, and not think too much. I guess when I think too much, then I know I'm overdoing it. If, you know, like when I just sit there and just play, then you listen back, you're like, man, that's great. You know, like that's when I play at my best, when I'm not thinking about it. My first 2 takes are gonna be my best takes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So not only did you adjust your playing, but also the size of your kit.
Yeah.
So now do you feel you're just killing the drums since you were playing bigger drums before?
It's easier to get around. Like on the last gig I did, since I was a band member, like you could pretty much do whatever you want as far as playing wise. Like I was the artist,
Right.
so like there'd be times where I play 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, or there'd be times where I play just 12, 16, 18 kind of thing. On this gig, since we're doing some jazz stuff and doing some of his rock and stuff and all his hits, Neal's hits, my setup is 10, 14, 16, and then a 20-inch kick. And then I have 3 snares that I switch out throughout the set.
Oh, so you're not using one primary one.
Right. I have one that's tuned really low, and it's a 6x13, and then I have a 7x13 brass that I tune pretty medium. It's kind of ringy, more for the rock and stuff, and then have a 6x14 I tune pretty high. It's brass also.
Well, let's talk gear since we already started.
Yeah, man.
Risen Drums. Tell me about them, man.
They're a company out of Minnesota, and they started about 7 years ago. And man, they kind of did the whole Keller Shell thing, and they found a guy to make their own lugs, and I met them at a festival in Minnesota, and they're like, man, come play our drums. If you don't like them, send them back. So it was like a handshake deal.
Right.
And now with those guys, it's been great because like I can call a guy on the phone right now and be like, man, what's up, dude? What's up? How's your kids doing? That kind of thing. More so than, hey, can you get me a 5x14, blah blah blah. Because we're buddies now. So that's kind of how that company operates. It's more like a family kind of deal. He builds them out of his garage, and makes great stuff.
Cymbal-wise, what are you playing?
I'm with Sabian, and I've been playing Sabian since I was 13. So when I finally got a Sabian deal, man, that was such a big deal to me, So, so mostly on this Neal gig, I switch them out. I have an AAX and stuff for crashes, and then and the rest of it's HHX. I kind of swap out. Like I got a couple different rides that I'll swap out depending on what Neal's doing that day.
Oh, gotcha.
So it's
well, yeah, because you're not packing gear for a country gig. You're packing for a country gig.
Everything. so I gotta, you gotta kind of have the right stuff. Sticks, I'm with Silver Fox sticks, and I grew up kind of playing like a 5A. I switched to a 5B. It's a little bulkier. Evans. I've been with Evans for 4 years now. Mostly G2 coated and EMAT on the kick and power center, reverse power center. I use Odyx mics, so the D series, D2 on the rack, D4s on the floor, D6 on the kick. Cool. And then the XCX1s on overheads. I'm using DW hardware. Man, I like to work out. Of course, I have my PlayStation in my bunk.
Working out video
Working
games.
out.
You're like a teenager, man.
Yeah.
This is Tracy with RoadDawgOnline.com. and Lester Estelle. And we're done.